Hi guys, it's Mary. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to put this foundation by Goss back on again. All right, this time I'm going to show you how, after many trials and errors, after doing this for a solid week, which way I like the best, because I've done this every which way I can. And we're going to use this product right here to see, is it a dupe? I have this on one side of my face and this on the other side of my face. Can you tell which side has what? Well, if you want to know, just keep watching. Welcome back to my face. I have my skincare on, and I'm not going to put a primer on. I'm not saying I won't use a setting spray. You know, one way I still want to wear this is with no powder at all, just with a setting spray. But I don't want to keep making videos. I mean, if it was a Holy Grail foundation, then I would want to wear it every day. But I mean, I just like it. It's a little finicky, in my opinion, because, well, we'll get to that in a second. All right, anyway, a lot of you have been asking me, like, is this Holy Grail? You know, have you tried it this way? Blah, blah. I have done just about everything you can do. I mean, I've applied it with stippling brushes and wet sponges, the cushion, my fingers, a regular brush. I've used his powder, some of my favorite powders. And what I've come to the conclusion is that Wayne's right. The best way to put this on is with a puff. And all puffs aren't necessarily created equal. Let me show you. Here's some puffs that I washed. Okay, and I just went and got them out of the dryer. Okay, so I've got two Laura Merciers, his and my La Mer, which, look at this. Okay, I wish that I liked the way this applied it as well as his, because look, this fits in here exactly. If you have the La Mer loose powder and you have this puff, it fits in here perfectly. But I just wanted to show you the differences in case you want to take that leap. The La Mer is free. It comes in the La Mer powder. You guys know I sent Mel my La Mer powder because the original one, she loved that powder. But I kept the puff because I used this puff with my Lancome dual finish foundation powder. Okay, I used this puff with it. I tried this with it because it fits right in here and I could just leave it there. Then I could just use this for powder. I'm going to show you some different kinds of puffs, okay? And his is not like any of them. It really is a different puff, even in the way it feels. So this is the Blendiful, okay? And it's dirty, forgive it. I didn't wash it. It was in with the vacation stuff. This lives in my purse. So these are Tati Beauty's Blendiful. And then this one here is the Forever Puff, which you can see the texture is different. I do like using them, but it's really not the same thing as his. Now we have two Laura Mercier puffs. This one here is the one that you can buy. This came in the anniversary edition of the powder. It's probably the closest, but still not the same as Wayne's. You can't see this very well because it's white. But if you look, see, that's different than the velour of the Laura Mercier puff, which is big and cushy, but it's more stiff than this. This is much softer. Kind of want to take and cut it open and look inside. But I don't want to have to buy another one to replace it. It's almost like there is a sponge inside here. Did Wayne say there was a sponge in there? Is that why people say sponge? Is it a sponge with velour on the outside? I really want to tear it open. But I don't, you know, I'm running low on money, dang it. I don't want to buy another one. So we're not going to do that. In any case, it'll tear up soon enough. The more I keep washing it, it's got to tear up, right? This has a weightiness to it that the other puffs don't. This feels squishy on the inside. So can you dupe this puff? I don't think so. I think this puff is unique to Goss. Not only that, I've told you I adore this elastic. I kind of like that it still says Wayne when you turn it over. This puff I actually love, and I'll buy this again. Now, having said that, the application is actually what I have against this. Now, I like this, don't get me wrong. But the best way this looks is actually, like he said, using his puff for the powder and the foundation both. Which means that I have to keep washing this every single time because I'm that person. And it's a little harder to do than a sponge. After I finished with my makeup today, I just took this for a spin in the washer. And this is how it came out. So it cannot be used in the washer, just like the Blendafuls can't. And then the next clip shows, this is after using Dawn on it for a good time until I gave up, and then finally went and got my e.l.f. sponge cleanser, which cleans it like a dream. I just don't want to do it every time. I won't mind using it for powder as much, okay? But dragging it through a cream foundation. So I think as creams go, for my age, this is about as good as it's going to get. And I bought a product that I remembered you guys told me about so that we can see if it's a dupe. I already know the answer. I'm not going to tell you. I think it's going to be pretty apparent to you as we work through this. Okay, just seeing them side by side and really up close. So this is the shade that I got. As you can see, the L'Oreal has quite a, nowhere near the same amount of product. The cap of this should actually tell you what the answer is going to be. I think this is the very lightest one you can get. We are going to use this on one side and we're going to use the Wayne Goss on the other. I already know the outcome of this, so I know that I can actually pull off, even though they're not the same shade, I can pull off making it look okay. Guys, I'm just going to give it to you. This is not a dupe for this. This is a balm. It's very much lighter, greasy feeling, and there's a serum in here. This is not. This is creamy, but it has, well, just watch. We're going to use Wayne's puff for both sides. I'm just going to use Wayne's here and use this side here for the other, and then flop it over and do the powder with both again, because I want to treat them both equally. What I've learned is less is more with this. I'm going to put this on this side. But before we do that, let's talk about the powder really quick. This is not, I don't like this powder. I'm not going to send it back because I found that it does do a really good job, like he said, helps smoothing out your eyeshadows or whatever. So I'll use it for that. But after today, I'll put this up. I actually like his powder best with my talc powders. So that would be my Huda, the Mercier, the Lancome, Nakia Joy. Okay, let's take the sponge now. I'm going to roll it over like this, and I'm just going to get a little bit on there. And we're going to build this up in areas by patting. This is how I like to do it. I'm going to really press that in the sides of my nose. And see, once I've got that in like that, I think that looks really good. Now I'm going to get some more, and we'll keep working out. Now I dipped down in there a little bit more and got some over here. So what I'm saying is, I think it works best if, and keep in mind, I like a lighter application. I don't like full coverage foundations. So I think it works best, for me anyway, to just dab in, get a little bit, and, work my way around. I do like how this did not settle in my wrinkles. I don't think it did. I thought it did a good job even with this powder over it. There we go. Now I think that that looks gorgeous. Don't you? And what I really want to do is just take the setting spray and set it and forget powder altogether. That's what I really want to do. But, this is part of the set. And I paid like $70 some to get all of this stuff. I know, that was crazy. Now, if I wasn't this obsessed person that looks at this and goes, it's not Snow White anymore. I mean, it's dirty, so now I gotta wash it. When I could, I've got 3 more sides here and all of this, if I wanted, that I could use, and I wouldn't have to wash it. But I'm just kind of, I don't want to say I'm OCD. I'm not OCD, but I gotta wash that now. Okay. Because I like it best put on like that, versus any kind of a brush, finger, sponge, what have you, that's what will keep me from reaching for this foundation. I know, right? You do you. All right, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to come into this. Now first, let me show you something. They're not dupes, guys. This is a balm. This is a cream. Because this is a balm, you have to use more to get the same result. You know, it's one of those situations where you get less product, you use more of the product, so maybe you should just get the other product. Let's do the same thing. I'm just going to press it in around my nose, come up here. Now, you know, swatching, of course, there's a big difference in the way these two look. But when you put it on your skin, you can't really tell that there's a shade difference. Not that big of a difference. Got to go back in and get more. And I'm not bashing L'Oreal. You know I love L'Oreal. This is kind of burning a little. Why is that? This feels like a chemical kind of burning a little. I just noticed that. I wonder what that is. That's interesting. I've never had that happen before. Anyway, I love L'Oreal. I swear L'Oreal bought Lancome so they could... What? Think about that for a second. They keep bringing out products that mimic Lancome's line, and they own Lancome. Is that to their advantage? Oh, enough about that. Who cares? You know? Only me. I'm the only person that cares. That sort of kind of tells the story. I personally think that this is kind of greasy feeling on my skin. Definitely need a concealer because it's not covering as much as I want because there's not enough pigment in it, see? But, you know, this is a perfectly fine product, but it is not a dupe for the Goss Cream Foundation. That's what I want to say, okay? So I'm going to flip this over and we're going to get some powder and we're going to press that in. I have learned about this powder too. So I'm going to go out here first and start pressing this in. And I'm going to work my way toward my nose where my pores are. So I don't know if that's where your large pores are or not, but that's where mine get to looking kind of cakey and awful. So I start out away from them and come in to them. And this is how I like to wear this combo. And I'll come up here on my forehead. I don't care about getting a little more up there. And then lastly, I'm just going to come up here with a little bit that's left on the puff and get underneath my eye. So there we go. I love the way that looks. I don't mind that this is coming through, but if you do, then just take a little bit on your finger, a little bit more, and come on the spots that, you know, you don't want peeking through. So I can do that, take a little more of the powder, and hit that spot. Go back into the powder and we're going to get on the L'Oreal side. Do the same thing, start over here. Now we can get a similar look when I'm done here, you know, because you won't be able to tell when I'm done that I have two different foundations on, I don't think. But I wouldn't say that it's a dupe. And I don't know, depending on how you wear it, whether or not it would be financially to your advantage to do the L'Oreal over the Goss. To me, his products are almost what I call high-end. Okay, certainly not luxury prices for luxury foundation, but, you know, it's lower priced than, say, one of my favorites, La Mercier, my Lancome, my Giorgio Armani, you know, the foundations that I tend to love and invest in, and I call it an investment because it is, okay? It is an investment. At my age, I'm sorry, I feel like you can get a lot of things at the drugstore that are great, But if you really truly want to look better, you're not going to use a drugstore foundation. And while I have a problem paying like $120 for a bottle of foundation, I don't have a problem throwing down $60 for a foundation. So this is a less expensive option. It's not going to be for people who want to pay a drugstore price though. Okay, so as you can see, this isn't covered, so we'll do the same thing that we did with the Wayne. I'm going to get a little bit of this, a little bit more of it, and come over that part, knock that in there. And the only reason I think that I can pull this off with two different foundations is because the L'Oreal is a lighter formula. If it was as pigmented as Wayne's, I don't think I could pull this off. So I'm going to get a little bit more powder on here and press that in. Okay, standing at the window, this is how they look. This is the L'Oreal side. This is the Wayne Goss side. And I'll let you look at that. And then we'll go out to the porch and have a look there. The Wayne Goss side, and this is the L'Oreal side. So look-wise, yeah, you could get this. Performance-wise, the Wayne Goss does better, I think. Final thoughts on that then. I give the foundation a thumbs up, but it's not my holy grail. I still prefer liquid foundations to powder to cream. The puff, if you're a puff person, girl, go get your puff. This is a great puff. He put some thought into this puff. I think a makeup artist understands this. This puff is unique. It's not the same as other puffs that you have. I promise you that. This powder, no. I think you can do without the powder. If you like talc powders like me, you can certainly do without this powder. It's messy. This powder clouds up, is everywhere. It is so messy. And guys, I don't have all the holes uncovered. I breathe it in. If you're 60, if you're even, 50, 45, if you're 45 and up and you like powder, I would say you probably have better powders than this one. You'll probably like other powders better. I certainly enjoy this one more than I like this one. I don't like the slight white cast that I get with this powder. It does tend to lighten things for me a little bit, and I don't really care for that. I want it to be truly, truly translucent. And this can be used where you don't get that white cast, but if you need that little powder, I don't know why you're even powdering. All right, so now I'm going to take the setting spray. All right, so that's it. We're done here today. I'm going to finish my makeup and my hair in a different video. I just wanted to be able to get this out quickly after the last video because I think it answers some more questions about how I feel about it, and certainly it answers a question about, is this a dupe? I want to let you know that if you don't know, you're the best part of the Fritzy family. And if you want a blessing, just go be a blessing. Go be a blessing, get a blessing. All right? And until next time, love you, see ya. Bye. And I'm out.
Say, the puffs are on the ground, the puffs are on the ground, puff down, puff down. Dang it. I thought I was a better sucker than that. I lost my train of thought. I have no idea what I was going to say. I just think what? What do you think? And does anyone really, truly care? It's dirty. Look, it's dirty. I need to clean it. Oh my God, there's a little bit of dirt on there. I gotta clean it. Oh, I guess see how slippy that is? Slippy, slip sliding away. Slip sliding away. I know you want inside my cracks, and too bad. Nobody gets in my cracks. Stay out of my cracks. Hey, Peter. Idiot. I'm not in the mood for you today. Okay? I'm just not. The next time I take a drink of that chocolate shake, I'm going to spit it on you. Not really. But, okay, just whatever. Except you know what? Today's Tuesday, you know what that means. It's going to be a special guest. It's Shy Guy, who won't come in. He told me he would. He's a liar. Liar. Liar.